All that, yeah.
We caught the bullet train here to Tokyo, and this is our accommodation. It's really nice. We have robes. I've never been in a hotel with a robe before. And we got slippers down there. We also had an amazing view of Mount Fuji from the train. Our first day in Tokyo was the clearest and sunniest, so we headed to Mount Fuji on an organised tour. Our first stop was a Lawson convenience store, which was crowded with people taking photos. Just walking down this suburban street, and this is my view. And I'm having some pineapple tea. How beautiful. Not a bad view on a random street in Japan. The famous clock street was very underwhelming, but we did get some Hiroshima District lemon gelato before heading to Lake Kawaguchio for these stunning views of Fuji. Honestly, it was such a clear day. We got super lucky with being able to see Fuji. Usually it's apparently got clouds and mist blocking it.
Wish I had my sunny.
Me too. We then smashed out in record time this staircase up the mountain, which led to a pagoda with another view of Fuji. The sun was in our eyes at this time, but it was pretty spectacular. We tried a giant Mount Fuji apple, which you can tell is good by this ridiculous video. We then headed to this village at the base of Fuji, which is supposed to have this pure clean water that will keep you alive until 100 years old. So we filled our bottles, and you could see how clear the water was going all the way down. The sun was setting at this time, so it was a really beautiful time to wander this village. We got ramen for dinner, and this was delicious, followed by a melon soft serve from 7-Eleven. We found this beautiful tranquil spot along the river to enjoy a convenience store breakfast in the cold. We headed to our booking at Team Lab Planets, the immersive art museum where you become one with the art, as it says here. You walk through water, there's projections around you, there's music, there's sound. It's a feast for the senses and was so much fun and cool to kill a few hours. I would highly recommend going here. Ah, unagi. Ah, salmon squid roll. We then visited the Tsukiji fish market, which was full of goodies to try and taste. We ended up at this coffee shop, which John Lennon once visited, which meant they themed the whole shop around the Beatles. Cool building? Ferrari. Jack's face. It was then shopping time in the Ginza district. 12-story Uniqlo. Let's go. So the special floor was actually a coffee shop, and I actually had the best matcha here I had in Japan. No lie. They also sold flowers. How cool. That's so good. I then wandered over to Ginza 6, the giant shopping centre, to check out this bookshop. It had a gallery space and sold little gifts. I whiled away a bit of time here. They also sold a sumo wrestler perfume in case you wanted to smell like a sweaty man. Random recommendation, but we got croque monsieur toasties from the bakery in a 12-story Muji, and they were unreal. That night we headed to the top of the Metropolitan Government Building in Tokyo, where you can get a free view of the city.
Should have brought my glasses, it's a learning curve. I haven't.
Look how big this city is. It's nuts. It spreads out like this in every direction. We then headed out into the bustling nightlife of Shinjuku, the area where we were staying. There is a Godzilla head that looms over the buildings, and at every half hour it blasts out smoke and its eyes light up, which was very underwhelming, to be honest. We headed to the best restaurant ever, which we found on TikTok. It's called Teppen Baby, and they did the Hiroshima style okonomiyaki with the noodles on top. This place was crazy. We pulled a number to get discounted sake. They had a live stream on YouTube. There was Japanese yelling. They gave us little toy babies. It was the best. Highly, highly recommend booking here. Continued our crazy night by heading to this bar where you popped a balloon for $5 and got whatever was inside. Sadly, Gabby and I got beers, but Daniel got a free mug that he could fill with drinks. This Japanese man started singing karaoke and the place went off. It was so much fun. There's people in this car being towed. What is going on? The next morning we got some delicious treats and coffee from the bakery downstairs of our hotel before we headed to Takeshita Street.
Takeshita Street.
And we're literally on Takeshita Street. This, of course, is the main thoroughfare of the Harajuku area, known for that quirky look and style of clothing. We browsed the shops here, took in the atmosphere of the street, and the boys actually had a lot of luck shopping. For lunch we headed to this famous sushi place where the food comes out on a conveyor belt directly to you. This was lots of fun and they had a wide variety of food, so highly recommend this one too. Bruno, come to Tokyo. Bruno, come to Tokyo. We spent some time shopping in the Shibuya area. This was the Japanese body shop. We went to the Nintendo store, yet another Pokemon store, of course. And the shops did have some cool things to see in this area. The next morning we headed to the gardens of the Imperial Palace. This really was an oasis in the middle of the city. The gardens were beautiful, the weather was stunning, there were so many autumn leaves, as everywhere in Japan. We wandered around really taking in the beauty of a green space in the middle of the city. There's even fruit trees here. Orange, grapefruit I think.
Yeah, maybe they fell out and that's like they're planning.
There were also lots of old palace buildings scattered about the grounds, such as watchtowers, storage huts, and even servants' quarters. Look at this cool sunflower dial and mosaic. Japan still has an emperor who lives in the palace in the middle of these gardens today. I will say Japan is very busy. There's so many people everywhere. This station we went through today has 3.5 million people go through it each day. What do you know? Another shrine. In the art. Mine is colourful.
Rather, that'll take a bit.
There's no sign saying no. This shrine was in a really bustling area full of gift shops and stalls. We somehow spotted this cherry blossom blooming in entirely the wrong season. This is a statue of the last ever samurai and his dog. Huge legends in Japan.
He got the same one. Oh, I got it right.
We then went to the National Nature and Science Museum, which was actually so cool. They had every species of taxidermied animal and so many dinosaur skeletons, more than I've ever seen, which was so cool. Also some woolly mammoths. Travelling with some science teacher friends, this was definitely a highlight. Even more dinosaurs. This is the best museum ever. Dinosaur on a spit. It was also set in this really pretty old building. The next day we visited this area, which is the arty, cool area of Tokyo. It was absolutely full of retro and vintage clothing stores with lots of cool stuff to browse through. It wasn't the most affordable, however. There was this cute little weekend market on, full of handicrafts and jewelry. I bought this little ring off the loveliest lady. Next on our list was the Ogawa Coffee Laboratory. This was intense. There was so many coffees to choose on based on flavor profile, depth, intensity. The barista recommended something for me and I got a little card describing its flavor profile. This was $9, but honestly, one of the best coffees I've had in my life. It was so worth it and absolutely delicious. Kawaii! We saw this bar on the map and had to try it. They played Japanese metal music, played Japanese horror films on the TV, and all the drinks were $6.66, the devil's number. It was such a vibe in here. The next morning we set off for Nagano. I had this delicious acai bowl smoothie on the train, and then we arrived and it was snowing. This was super exciting. We packed onto a jam-packed bus to get to the Snow Monkey Village, and look how the scenery changed. It was absolutely gorgeous. I've never been anywhere like this. I was clearly having fun in the snow, as you can tell. You had to walk for about half an hour to get to the Snow Monkey Park through this absolutely stunning scenery. Honestly, I was taking photos and just soaking it all in. Saw our first snow monkey on the path, and then a little while later we were at the onsen. This was built so the snow monkeys would have their own onsen to bathe in and not jump in the human version. The monkeys were super cute as they jumped in the onsen and huddled together to keep warm. There were babies, they were playing, just having the best time. Here is a behind the scenes view of what it looks like with everyone taking photos. Eventually, just like these monkeys, the cold got to us, and so we headed back and grabbed a much needed hot chocolate. The sky changed from snowy grey back to brilliant sunny blue as we headed back into Tokyo and grabbed a bento box for the train. On our last morning in Japan, I grabbed a salted choc scone from the bakery and headed to this beautiful neighborhood to head to an onsen. I obviously couldn't film inside as you have to bathe naked, which took a second to adjust to, but it was such a beautiful setting, and they did homemade soba noodles, which you could eat by this beautiful garden. Highly recommend the experience for improving body image. After ducking into this Disney flagship store, we headed back to the Metropolitan Government buildings, this time to see the view of Tokyo during the daytime. This was cool, as you could see the mountains surrounding the city and even Fuji in the distance. It was then time to say bye to our hotel and jump on the train to the airport. Time for one last vending machine coffee and convenience store snacks. We used up our cash buying these actually. Can we just look at the beautiful mug I got from Nara, I think, with the famous wave. These chopsticks from Nagano. They've got little monkeys on them. How cute. I got the famous hair mask from Japan, so we'll give this a go. Okay, short interruption to say how nice my hair is looking using this mask. So this is like not brushed. I've just combed it through when it was wet and then scrunched it. And look how curly it is. I love it. All in all, my trip to Japan and Korea was such a fun and cool experience. They are such cool countries to visit and just soak up the lifestyle. There's crazy technology, there's so much shopping, there's beautiful nature. We went at the perfect time with sunny, clear days and gorgeous autumn leaves. The food everywhere was amazing and the people so friendly. So here's to a great trip, and until the next one.